Hated, adored, but never ignored. That is basically the definition of Abby's character in The Last of Us Part 2. Even though this character is hated everywhere you go, no matter if it's on YouTube, Twitter, or any social media platform, Abby is, and probably will always be, the reason why some people just don't like this game and probably won't even give this game a try. The fact that I'm even making this video discussing why Abby is loved by some The Last of Us fans in the first place will for sure bring some hate to this video, because this is basically a controversial statement to make, and some people actually get incredibly triggered from what a guy like me has to say on the internet, which in a way is kind of sad. But for those respectful people out there that disliked or liked Abby and The Last of Us Part 2 and like hearing both sides and points of views, I hope that in these two videos, why Abby is hated and why Abby is loved, can open a civil conversation between these both sides and try to help people understand each other's points of views, which basically is the point of me making this channel in the first place. My goal here is to create a safe environment and community in which we can all feel free to express our own feelings and opinions, even if it's criticizing or loving any type of media, and be respected for that. And thanks to you guys, that is happening. So guys, before starting the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and to hit the notification bell to get notified on my future videos, and make sure to destroy that like button, which is one of the best ways to support the channel. Also, watch my previous video in which I discuss why Abby is hated in The Last of Us Part 2. Links to that video will be in the description down below or on the circle thing on top of this video. Now that we got that out of the way, make sure to get comfortable, put some headphones on, and let's discuss why Abby is actually loved by many The Last of Us fans. Naughty Dog is a company that specializes in story-based games, and they are the company that made that genre very popular ever since they released their first Uncharted game back in 2007. And ever since then, Naughty Dog has always made sure that in their games, the characters they chose to show us are compelling, well-written, and loved by us fans. They have done an incredible job on that. And it's gotten to the point in which it's not controversial at all to say that Nathan Drake, Sully, Elena, Chloe, Sam, Joel, Ellie, Bill, Tess, Jack and Daxter, and many other characters are very loved by a lot of people, and for sure one of the most popular characters in gaming history, alongside Kratos from God of War, Master Chief from Halo, John Marston and Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, and many other video game characters. So when we were introduced to this mystery woman in the trailers that were shown back in 2017, who now we know as Abby, many of us fans were very excited to see what this character was going to bring to the table. And knowing Naughty Dog, many of us were not worried at all, because Naughty Dog always makes great characters. So it was a big surprise to see the big outrage that exploded on social media way back when the leaks of The Last of Us Part 2 occurred back in April 2020. And the reason for that was because she brutally killed Joel with a golf club. Many gamers saw this as a ultimate disrespect to end Joel's life like that, and many actually felt that this was a spit in the face to Joel and to a lot of The Last of Us fans. I'm not getting into full detail about this topic in this video because I will discuss about that in the next video right after this one, with a video titled, "Is Joel Disrespected in The Last of Us Part 2?" Stay tuned for that video and hit the notification bell to get notified when I upload it. Now, if Abby is so hated because she brutally tortured and killed Joel, how come there are people that actually like Abby in this game? How is that even possible if Naughty Dog in the first hours of the game basically killed Joel and intentionally made us despise Abby? Well, Naughty Dog made a bold and risky move that for some people, it actually paid off. And that was basically flipping the script halfway through the game and making us play as Abby in her shoes in the 3 days that Ellie was in Seattle. Naughty Dog tested our own personal bias by showing us that the reason why Abby even killed Joel in the first place was because Joel, without knowing, killed Abby's father, who was the surgeon we are forced to actually kill in the first The Last of Us game. Now that we have to experience Abby right after she killed Joel and see how, even though she trained for 4 years to build herself up to become the ultimate killing machine to track down Joel and get her revenge, even after she accomplished her ultimate goal, she felt empty. Her nightmares of her father being dead never stopped. You can actually say that Abby lost all her humanity the moment she got her revenge on Joel, and now she has absolutely nothing. During her section, we see how the cycle of hatred took everything away from Abby. She had a great romantic relationship with Owen, and she lost to him to Mel because of her obsession to train and track down Joel. She slowly but surely started to drift apart from her friends and became a monster-killing machine because of her obsession in trying to track down Joel. She is even seen at one point as a bad person by Mel, who told Abby this.
He may fall for your little act with these kids, but I don't.
There's nothing to fall for.
Isaac's top scar killer suddenly had a change of heart. Nothing to do with Owen, right?
I haven't always done the right thing.
You're a piece of shit, Abby. You always have been. I'm done with you.
This is what Abby became in order to get her revenge. And just like Joel, Abby's sins came back to haunt her when Ellie and Tommy, while tracking Abby down, killed all of her friends, including Nora, Manny, Mel, who was pregnant, and her ex-boyfriend, Owen. The cycle of hatred, which started with Joel killing most of the Fireflies in the first game, and then Marlene and Abby's father, of course, without knowing, made Abby lose it all. She is now suffering the consequences also of her actions by killing Joel, and Naughty Dog made sure we experience that. The crazy thing about all of this is that when we play as Abby in her section, we are basically experiencing the start of a redemption arc with Abby. When she killed Joel and she finally got what she always wanted, you can see the moment in which after she killed him, you can see her face immediately, feeling completely empty and like she gained absolutely nothing by killing Joel. Almost like she went through all that trouble and at the end, not worth it. And later when we play the story at the end, we see that yeah, it was not worth it at all. Abby had nightmares about her father, and even after killing the person responsible for her father's death and basically humanity being stuck fighting infected for probably the rest of their lives, she couldn't shake those nightmares away, and Abby was still more lost and depressed than ever. This is why after she had sex with Owen and she had a nightmare about Lev and Yara, young Seraphites who saved her life the night before, she knew what she had to do, even though they were supposed enemies of the WLF. She rushed to basically look for them once more and gave them shelter in Owen's aquarium so that Yara can be healed. This is the beginning of Abby's redemption arc, and everything after that, we get to see Abby regain a little bit of her humanity back, even though she is still a terrible person for what she did to Joel and for being part of Owen cheating on Mel. And trust me, you can actually like a character without liking what they do or are as a person. Just like Laura Bailey said in an interview recently, she does not like Abby as a person, but she still chose Abby as one of the most interesting characters she has ever played, and that for Laura Bailey, it was an amazing experience to actually embody Abby in The Last of Us Part 2, which shows that it is actually possible to like a character in a story even though you don't like them as a person. And just like everyone in the Last of Us universe, no one is good, but you can still understand what they're going through, and I believe that Naughty Dog did an amazing job in basically giving us a different perspective away from Joel and Ellie, and experience how others suffer from the actions done by Joel and Ellie, who are characters that actually we love a lot and care so much about. Abby's character is a challenge for us gamers, but it's honestly a challenge I recommend some people go through. At first, when I played as Abby in this game, and I had to play for the first time in her section, I was honestly about to give up on this game. I was not interested in seeing her perspective, and all I wanted to do was actually go back to the theater and kill Abby. but after many hours playing as Abby, seeing her perspective and see how she was struggling with what she did to Joel, and then embarking in a redemption arc by creating a close relationship with Yara and especially Lev, I actually grew to appreciate Abby as a character. When Abby told Lev,
She's gone. Oh my god, she's gone. Come on. Those were your fucking people. You're my people.
in that moment, I actually began to connect with Abby. And with multiple replays, I actually grew to love the way Naughty Dog portrayed her character, even though she is still a horrible human being. I actually grew to love her so much as a character that when Abby's perspective came to an end and we're put back into the present time into the theater, all I wanted was for both Ellie and Abby to stop this cycle of hatred and just go home. Both have lost it all, and it honestly was just not worth it. Abby, in my opinion, is the representation of basically letting your ego aside and giving it a shot in trying to open up to other people's side of the story and their own views. We as human beings, we have this condition of only thinking that we are right and that only our side of the story is correct. Whatever others do to us can never be because we caused it or because we're a part of that in any way, shape, or form. It is like we can't do anything wrong, but others can. And shamefully, we have shown this type of attitude for centuries. That is why many wars have existed, crimes have been committed, divorces and breakups have happened, constant negativity online, and constant fighting in our homes with our families, friends, co-workers, or even strangers. Our lack of communication and understanding of each other's feelings and emotions create this never-ending cycle of pain and suffering, and in some cases, a never-ending cycle of hatred. Only imagine if Marlene and the Fireflies were a little bit more understanding of Joel's feelings and effectively communicated with him what they needed to do with Ellie to obtain a vaccine. If only they were a little bit more kind to him and actually taken him to Ellie so that he can see her, speak to her about this. And if Ellie consented to dying for this cause, and the Fireflies would have just been a little bit more patient, a little bit more friendly with Joel, probably Joel would have let Ellie die for humanity, and none of what happened later would have happened. And honestly, as cliche as it might sound, communication and understanding one another is key. And if only the Fireflies were a little bit more understanding to Joel. I know I'm repeating it a lot, but if only they were a little bit more understanding, things might have been different. And that is why, in my opinion, Abby's character is loved by some The Last of Us fans, because she represents that side of the coin that we human beings fail to understand because of our own personal bias, emotions, thoughts, and just our needs and what we want. She is not the best character in my opinion, but what she brings to the table actually made me think a lot about how I treated or even viewed other people's points of views about basically anything, and that got me to think a lot. In my opinion, if we try to see Abby as what she is and what she has gone through in this game, we will see that she is no different from Ellie or Joel. She is also a broken human being affected by the universe of The Last of Us, and she's a character that has shown to us how everything we do in life can in some way affect negatively to the people we don't know, and sometimes even affect those who we care the most about. Even though this game wasn't the game I personally wanted, which was basically another adventure with Joel and Ellie, I got a game which reminded me of the true meaning of perspective and putting myself into somebody else's shoes. And honestly, I truly needed to experience this. This game has motivated me to be better and listen to others. Everyone has their own story, their own perspective, their own lives. Who am I just to think that I'm always right? That my opinions or views on anything is the only way? If only I can be a little bit more understanding of other people's feelings and what they're going through, I can probably help somebody in desperate emotional need, and things can become so much better. Probably being like this, we can change for the better as a society and become more accepting of other people's differences and spread love before hate consumes us all, just like it did with Ellie and Abby. This game has reminded me that it's not just about what I go through, but about what others go through in life as well. And thanks to The Last of Us Part 2 and Abby's character, I've been reminded of what I need to do. Spread love and try to understand others' perspectives. You don't know if by hearing somebody out, that's all they've needed all along. Like and share this video and subscribe to my channel for more discussions like this. Stay positive, stay safe, endure and survive, and I'll see you guys next time.